What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got an episode of This Week in Warframe. We're going over the entire weekly reset and what to expect as a Warframe player this week. If you're a Warframe player this week, it's going to be a good week for you. We got the Jade Shadows update releasing on all platforms on Tuesday, and that's going to be a big change to the game. We got new Warframe, new mission, big status changes, and the like. So let's get right into what we have for this week's reset before we go over all that stuff on Tuesday. Alright, let's start with the first weekly reset at Teshin. I don't even know what we have here, but it's probably not going to be that exciting because we had Umbra form like a week or two ago. So we got a 3x form of bundle at Teshin. And if that's worth it to you for your 75 steel lessons, go for it. We've also got the evergreen stuff of Relic Pack and Kuba down here. Now, yeah, we do have the Jade Shadows update on Tuesday. And big things look out for the Jade Shadows update as far as, things will happen on a weekly basis. There is going to be the new Jade Warframe, and that's going to be here forever. But the big thing you guys are going to want to make sure you are aware of is that you want to be in a clan for the new Belly of the Beast event starting on Tuesday as well. That's where Arcane Energize is going to drop at. You're going to have a new Ephemera dropping there. And yeah, it's just going to be a big like throw energy cells at the elevator core kind of mission over and over again. Escort mission too. So I've got a meta guide on the video on the channel already going over that, and once the event actually comes out, we can solidify that meta on Tuesday. For Archides weekly wares, let's see what we got. So we got an Orokin Reactor Blueprint, one of the main things you'd go to this for. But as far as the other things for her weeklies, we've got Exilus Warframe Adapter for 20 Pathos, 5,000 Cooper for 10 Pathos, Orokin Reactor for 20 Pathos as we stated, Forma Blueprint for 10 Pathos, and a secondary Arcane Adapter for 25 Pathos. If you want to get any of this stuff for Pathos, that's going to involve Aura Worm fights, and they're not really that bad, so feel free. Let's take a look at the Elite Archimedean. So I did put out the Elite Archimedean solo gameplay last week, and I am going to make some changes to that video that you guys suggested, but overall, yeah, I am going to be doing the solo Elite Archimedean on stream tonight, so if you want to come stop by and check out the theory crafting and all that, let's hope that the words. Okay, so going on and moving on to the Elite Archimedean here, let's see what we got. Now, if you don't have this unlocked, it will require rank 5 with the Kavia Syndicate to unlock these Elite missions. And as far as the modifiers and all that, let's see what we got this week. Alright, so we got the first mission as Disruption. And the negative modifiers will be, first one, Unified Purpose. All enemies will target the conduits. This one's kind of annoying. If you don't know what that means, basically, when you activate the conduit, it will have a health bar, and all the enemies will attack it. And even if you if you're about to destroy the Demolus, the enemies destroying the conduit will fail that area of disruption. So you have to be like a little bit defensive, a little bit offensive. It's going to be quite a lot to take care of, but shouldn't be that bad after like maybe 1 or 2 towers of this. Second modifier, Entanglement. Allies within 4 meters of a dead enemy will have reduced movement speed and parkour velocity. Not that big of a deal. And the last one's Commanding Culverins. The Rogue Culverins equip weapons that deal 5 times damage to Overguard and mechs. So, if you got Dante for this, you get your Dante Spectre. There you go. You're going to have more damage dealt to your Overguard. It might actually break this time. Moving on to the second mission, we got Alchemy again. And as far as the modifiers, Alchemic Invulnerability is your first one. 10% of the enemies are equipped with an impervious elemental barrier that can only be destroyed by an Amphora of the corresponding element. This usually just ends up being the enemies that have this are just immune standing around stunned. Because it's annoying to go find the grenade to kill that specific enemy. There's going to be another one, the different element right next to him. It just ends up being a bunch of invincible enemies standing around. But yeah, if you want to destroy their immune barrier, throw the correct elemental grenade at their barrier. It should have the icon above their head. Next one, Explosive Potential. Rupturing Fragments replace Shuffling Fragments. That one's a little bit dangerous because those Rupturing Fragments deal like a 5,000 damage in one explosion. So be really careful about those arm enemies when they get close to you. They might explode for a bunch of damage. And the final modifier for the Elite Archimedean is going to be Guardian Eximus units may be encountered, including a Guardian Eximus mech. So you're going to have a bunch of annoying stuff happening around you as you're throwing these grenades at the objective. But biggest thing is just make sure you can survive here. And for the final mission, we got Survival. And let's see what we got. Do we have any... Okay, so Light Sword Towers are only activated after 20 enemies can be killed within 15 meters of them. So no guaranteed mech killing stuff. So that's great. But you get the kill enemies within the towers. So just be aware of that. I see Ivara on my loot right here. I might just go with Ivara for this because that should be pretty straightforward. Bold Venture. Enemies deal less damage and take increased damage, but also have increased movement speed, attack speed, and fire rate. And for the final one, everyone's favorite, Vampire Limitless. Though Vampire Limitless have returned, it will drain your overguard, your health, and your armor really fast. So just be aware of that. These things move, those Vampire Limitless move really fast too. So just be aware of it, that in the final mission you'll be getting hit by a lot of stuff. As far as the modifiers, you got Ninth Step Syndrome. Lose 2 health while moving, jumping will pause the effect. That's probably pretty bad for my Avara, actually. Energy Exhaustion, lose 2 energy per second for each enemy within 10 meters of me. That's also very bad for my Avara. Okay, maybe no Avara. Abbreviated abilities. Okay, so if you're listening to this right now, they are going to make this modifier less brutal on Tuesday. So that means that this 75% ability duration is going chopped down to 50% negative ability duration. So if you don't want to deal with that, but you're still going to deal with it a little bit, wait until Tuesday to do this, and you'll have 25% more duration on your build. So there you go. Either way, like that's what the modifier is, negative duration on abilities. And the last one, Fractured Armor. Casting ability reduces your armor by 10% for 10 seconds. So yeah. Just a reminder though, abbreviated abilities is being nerfed to be less annoying on Tuesday. So good luck getting your Archon Tau Shards. Looks like my gear is not really the best this week, but I do have an Incarnon Bronco pistol. That's nice. Moving on to Bird 3. This is definitely not Call over here. I'm not going to call you Call ever again. We got Bird 3 with a Crimson Archon Shard for 30,000 rep. If you're not rank 5 with the Kavia Syndicate, you cannot get this either. That's your Kavia stuff for the week. Let's go ahead and look at the Incarnons and also the Archon Hunt and stuff like that. So, yeah, Jade Shadow's coming out on Tuesday. There's going to be a lot of things to use Archon Shards for. I've done a prep video like over a week ago on this, but yeah, I've got a bunch of shards ready for Jade. I'm going to have a Jade video out, I'll have a patch note video, and the like. Alright, so for the Archon Hunt, we got the Snake Archon with Amber Archon Shard, and the mission types are going to be Rescue, Interception, and the Final Boss Showdown. I'm only got 20% drop chance this week, but yeah, there is a pity system that will go up every week if you don't get this. I probably won't get it tonight, is my guess. As far as the circuit stuff, let's see what we got as far as the Normal Path and the Steel Path circuit. Okay, so for the Normal Path circuit frames, we got Necros Normal, Valkyr Normal, and Oberon Normal. Now, as far as Oberon Normal for nowadays, this frame used to drop from Eximus, just generic Eximus kills, and I believe now it's in Railjack. So the fact it's in Railjack makes this a lot more annoying to farm, because Valkyr comes from the boss fight on Jupiter, Alad V, and Necros comes from Lafontis on Deimos as a boss fight. So they're both boss fight frames, very easy to farm, and I'm pretty sure that this guy comes from like Rotation C on like some random Railjack defense or whatever. So that's pretty terrible. Not that Oberon's really like a meta frame at all. And you know the helmet ability of Necros is really good, Terrify. But yeah, as far as like the annoying ones to farm, I'd say probably go for Oberon because his normal spot to farm him from is pretty bad. His helmet ability is Smite for Smite Infusion. So I'd say go for Oberon if you want to alleviate some really annoying grinds, but Necros is pretty good. So I'd say if you want to get an actual good frame, go with Necros. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the Steel Path. Let's see what Steel Path Incarnons we have. Okay, so we got Akenbrut Incarnon, Soma Incarnon, Vasto Incarnon, Nami Solo Incarnon, and Burstun Incarnon. If you haven't played in a while, just a reminder, you can go for things like 20,000 Kuva or a Riven instead of one of these Incarnons you might already have. Alright, so doing a full review of all these as far as what's the best ones. We got the Akenbrut Incarnon. The Incarnon form on this thing lets you launch like ghost axes at enemies when you do a slide attack or an airborne attack, I believe. And they're like mini Exodia Contagions. When I say mini, I mean the damage is a lot lower. So it's like kind of like a ranged melee weapon when you Incarnon transform after a 6x multiplier. It's not really a very popular weapon, but it can do some kind of okay stuff. You get a crit chance increase or a hybrid increase, or on kill, 50% chance for primary and secondary weapons to be instantly reloaded. That stuff's not really useful for any of the content we really are playing, so it's just pretty much a high stat sword and shield, or more like an axe and a shield. If you want to get this just for fashion frame purposes, go for it, but it's not really one I'd recommend very highly. As well, in the same vein of not recommending this very highly, we got Soma Incarnon. Probably the most disappointing Incarnon in the entire game. The Incarnon form on this thing, it reduces your... Okay, they don't say it here, but it reduces your crit chance on this weapon to make it an Incarnon form to give you more status chance and more multi-shot. And also, so it reduces your crit chance and your fire rate. but you get standard chance and multi-shot in return. So this thing has really good crit in the base form, and it even has a crit damage Incarnon, the final tier, but then once you actually go to Incarnon form, why'd you even bother with that crit chance, or crit damage, because now you have like no crit chance at all. So if you're using a frame like Sevagoth or Harrow to buff the crit chance on this thing, it can be really powerful, but sadly it is the most disappointing Incarnon in the game. It has very low base damage too. I think the Soma has like base 12 base damage. So you get an Incarnon goes to like 24, but still, that's even lower than a lot of the weapons in this game. So really low recommendation on these two, sadly. We all want the Soma Incarnon to be better than it actually ended up being. Vasto Incarnon, this is a single target Incarnon pistol. Now it hits really hard. It's got the Incarnon perk called Death Trap Trigger. On equip from primary, increase critical chance by 30% and critical damage by 2.2 for 3 seconds. So you basically swap to this thing and blast out an Acolyte and then swap off of it again to like go take care of trash ads. It is not meant for clearing out a bunch of enemies. It's meant for clearing out one enemy. And that being said, I have used this for level 10,000 Void Cascade. It is not the best for Thrax. The Thrax jump around a bunch, but if you want a good weapon for disruption, the Demolists are very slow and easy to hit, and they can be Magus Lockdown with no Overguard. So this can be great in a disruption for killing a Demolist, but in Void Cascade, they kind of just jump around too much in my opinion. But still, really powerful for a single target pistol. And as far as the number 1 and number 2s this week that I'd probably recommend, we got the Nami Solo Incarnon. Why is this thing good? Well, it's mainly because this thing has so much range in Incarnon form. We get plus 3 meters of extra range, in addition to like all the other things we got. We can get like 12, 13 meters of range on this thing. Additionally, you can get built-in attack speed with Brigand's Frenzy. On equip, increased attack speed. And then also, this one right here, this is a deceptively useful one, Lone Blade. When in melee mode, increased fall off by 60%. I don't know why they typed it out like that, but actually its damage fall off, or rather damage follow through is increased instead. So you can be basically full damage to every enemy in a line, in a 13-meter line with this thing. And the final tier is just giving you a bunch of extra status chance or crit chance. This thing is good with melee influence, and since the Blast proc changes are coming through on Tuesday, Blast Electric Nami Solo might be something really powerful and strong. It's already strong right now, with Blast procs doing basically nothing, so when the new patch comes out, Blast Electric Melee Influence Nami Solo might be really good for AoE clearing stuff. So maybe get this one if you haven't tried it out yet. And as far as the best Incarnon this week, got the Burstin Incarnon. It is one of the best primaries in the whole game. The Incarnon form makes this thing full auto, and will have built-in fire damage and a small AoE as well, and increased stats. This thing can hit really hard. Now, one big thing, though, is that Galvanized Aptitude should not be used on this weapon because it does not scale properly with the base damage on this thing. If you want to do a level 10,000 build on this, I'd recommend Corrosive and Heat, with a crit build and good fire rate. But yeah, this thing's really strong. Tons of crit chance with Absolute Valor. If you get a Riven for it, you can get red crits as well, so really, really powerful weapon. Now, as far as number 1 and number 2 this week, I'd say number 1 is going to be the Burst Incarnon. It's going to be so good in the new update. Reminder too, we're getting a full auto setting, so the primary form of this will be full auto, and the Incarnon form will also be full auto. So you have a full auto, fully full auto weapon here. Number 2, probably Nami Solo, because it's going to be really nice with that melee influence blast proc build, but let's say that's not over this. So number 1, number 2, Nami Solo and Burstin, but let's say you want one of these other things, don't feel bad taking it, because these things will eventually come back around, but it'll be over a month. So yeah, number 1, number 2, Burstin, Nami Solo. If you don't want to do the Nami Solo, go for the Vasto, I guess. So that's going to be my recommendation for the week on those. Alright, let's go over the Nightwave challenges. Now, I will have the new Galaxian Augment tonight, and I will be making a video on it tomorrow. So before the new update comes out, I'll make that Galaxian Augment video for you guys. Okay, so as far as Nightwave challenges, our first Nightwave Weekly is going to be Forward Thinking. Destroy a cruise ship with a forward artillery. That's going to be the big, gigantic cannon on the front of it. Just shoot one of the jets and it should blow it up really easily. Heavy Ordnance. Get 500 kills with an Arcwing gun. Heavy Arcwing gun launcher will be your best bet here. I'd recommend doing like Zephyr tornadoes to pull the enemies into the tornado and just blast them with this. Okay, first Elite Weekly. Oh no. Mirror Defense. Defend both mirror defense objectives 3 times in a single mission. So that's like, what, 6 waves? Actually, I think you defend 1 of each. So that's three full waves of mirror defense to do this. I'll probably end up doing the Kavia one because I kind of swore off of doing the Citrine one because those gems give me a headache. So yeah, maybe do the, I think it's called Munio on Deimos if you want to do this one. Or you could do the Citrine one and get some gems picked up, I guess, too. Don't let me tell you not to do that. Terminated. Destroy 3 Necromech Vault Guardians. So do the level 3 Vault, and then there's going to be 3 mechs that spawn in there. Should be straightforward. Those mechs are really easy to kill nowadays in the Isolation Vaults. And as far as your normal permanent weeklies, kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions of killing an enemy with a mercy kill. Now, as far as your cred offering store here, them and their sword and love to change them. You get evergreen stuff at the top, Orokin Reactors, Nighttane Extract, and the like. And as far as helmets, if any of these helmets interest you, feel free to grab it. Looks like pretty normal helmets. We got a Kalervo helmet, that's kind of nice. Now, as far as the Aura mods and the Augment mods, let's see what we got. Okay, so we got Steel Charge, one of the best Aura mods in the game. It gives increased melee damage. Now remember too, the new frame Jade will have 2 Aura slots. So you can put Steel Charge and EMP Aura on her if you wanted to. So make sure if you're a newer player and you want to play Jade, make sure you have 2 good Aura mods. So Steel Charge would be a great one to throw in there. But EMP Aura would not be. EMP Aura is pretty bad. Enemy Corpus lose accuracy, hardly even noticeable. But as far as the Augment mods we have for the Nightwave store, we got Harpack Exposing Harpoon, Napalm Grenade for the Penta, which is pretty nice actually, Muteless Quanta Bursting Mass, and Convectrix Efficient Beams. So if you do want to use the Penta, this can be pretty nice in the Penta. Now it does consume a mod slot. This will make the Penta built-in fire damage, and it also increases the status chance too. So it's pretty nice for like a direct hit Penta build, but I mean, why are you using the Penta in the first place? Go get like an actual like Tonkor or something. So yeah, not the best weapon, but a pretty good mod for that weapon. And Efficient Beams, if you use the Convectrix, you must have this mod. Massive status chance increase, only consume ammo when dealing damage. So very, very nice for just conserving ammo and doing a ton of slash procs. For, mastery fodder stuff down here, we got the Dark Dagger Blueprint, the Heat Dagger Blueprint, and the Dark Sword Blueprint. None of those are really like that phenomenal, more like mastery fodder there for sure. As far as the Conclave Augment mods, we got Focused Acceleration for the Tetra, Ambush Optics for the Rubico, Directed Convergence for the Supra, and Shrapnel Rounds for the Merlock. None of those really going to be what I'd heavily recommend, but if you want to try them out, feel free. And that is basically going to be your weekly reset this week, guys. Let's go take a look at those invigorations, because we're going to have the Belly of the Beast event on Tuesday, and I got my override available. Let's hope that something here is going to be good for my loadout for playing Wukong for this, because I think Wukong will be the meta of this new event. Frost is getting a mini rework too, so hopefully that's going to be a good one. Reminder too, if you don't have this, or you want to get access to this stuff, these are random per player per week. So just because I have Frost, Baruch, and Loki doesn't mean that you'll have Frost, Baruch, and Loki. You might have Sevagoth or whatever. So if you want to get access to this, rank 5 with the Deimos Necrolisk Syndicate, or you can buy in the market for like 300, 500 plat. And this is going to be randomly refreshing each week. All right, so what we got. Now keep in mind that I'm looking for these to be good on Wukong. All right, so first one for Loki. Ability Range Energy Max. Okay, that one, this might be a good one for my Wukong, because the range of the Celestial Stomp Augment mod is pretty crazy. I got like a 53 meter stun radius. Not to mention, this affects the silence range too. So we might have already found our winner here with the range and range and energy max invigoration for Loki. I'll override this on the Wukong for 65 meter silence radius. So good first choice. Second one. Oh man. What are we going to choose? We got ability, power, strength, and parkour velocity for Baruch. Now we have a decision to make. Do we want power strength or do we want range on Wukong? Okay, what's this third one going to be? What could be better than these two? What could be better than these two? We'll have to find out. Okay, it's the completely useless one. Melee critical chance and reload speed for Frost. So I'll probably throw that on him because it's not going to really buff his abilities at all. It's going to buff his weapons. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments down below. For purposes of the new events for Wukong, would you prefer to have 200% power strength and 75% ability, or 75% parkour velocity, or do you prefer to have 200% energy max and 100% ability range? Out of these two, which would you choose for the new event? I'm not going to choose until Tuesday, but we'll have to decide when that time comes around. So hopefully you guys found this video fun and helpful. I'll see you on stream very soon for the Elite Archimedian and all that stuff. So glad to see the video tomorrow. Appreciate the support, guys. Take it easy. Peace.